Hey Urvashi, I've always wanted to ask you, with your kid being named Meera, have you seen Meera the Royal Detective?
Oh, that show with the brown girl solving mysteries.
Yeah.
Yes, I think I've seen one episode that mentioned soggy samosas and had some very heavy Indian stereotypes. I think it's a show targeted towards American desis.
Yeah, I guess so. And fair enough. I mean, we haven't actually watched this show, but it's one of those few shows that some of my friends say have a decent enough storyline, so they don't mind co watching it with their kids.
Well, Meera the Royal Detective aside, one of the most popular kids show is Miss Rachel. Have you seen that one?
Oh man, the most annoying high pitched voice I have ever heard.
Seriously, I am sorry, Miss Rachel, but what's up with that voice?
So I think I read that she purposely does that because she says that it's this infant directed voice that helps them learn language better.
Really? Do you think kids actually learn language from watching shows? Anyway, we will get to that in our episode.
Absolutely. So our topic for today is if you have to do screen time, what should toddlers watch? Now we are doing this episode because we have heard this question from so many of you. To actually answer this question, we have to first ask what is the selection criteria? Or basically, how does one go about selecting which shows are okay and which ones are really bad?
Yes, and one of the things I think I have seen in research is that the pace of the show is really important. So, for example, Coco Melon research shows is probably too exciting for toddlers because it has like short scenes, like 2 second scenes, fast camera movements, dancing subtitles, multiple sound effects. Basically, there's just a lot going on for a small child to take.
Yeah, and I guess if the child has to put in a lot of effort to decode these fast events and movements, that might impact their executive function.
Executive function is an interesting concept. Like, just to define it for our audience, it's basically the mental skills that help you get things done. So, things like impulse control, working memory, all of that is part of executive function. And there's a famous or rather infamous SpongeBob study that talks about impact of these shows on executive function.
Yeah, I know the study that you're talking about. I think this is where kids were made to watch SpongeBob, which is a super fast show. And then these kids performed a lot worse than others on impulse control and cognitive capabilities. And I've actually experienced that. Like, I had a super tantrumy 2-year-old after exposing him to longer than usual TV.
Oh, I feel you. 2-year-olds are already so hard. So when you think about selection criteria, you should basically pick shows with simpler storyline and maybe that are slow. What else? I think another concept is maybe is the show too annoying for you or can you co-watch it?
Yeah, absolutely. That's super important. I mean, we've talked about this on our podcast before, right? Co-watching has a lot of benefits. Children will understand and learn better if you can talk to them about what's happening or if they can ask questions or relate to it in real life.
Right, and which is why now you see a lot of these shows like Bluey targeted towards adults. It basically lets adults co-watch it because Miss Rachel is so annoying. And I have seen an episode of Bluey. It's not that bad. I think I can totally co-watch it, though I personally don't prefer it because I find it a little fast-paced for my child.
Yeah. Also, I have to mention here, right, that screen time is often an alternative when you can't co-watch because you're occupied elsewhere. So then the other selection criteria is what is the show's content, especially when the kid is watching independently. Or maybe put in other words, like, what do you actually want the kid to learn from this show?
Right. And each show generally has some kind of a theme or concept. Some shows are like more entertainment, like Peppa Pig, etc. But generally there's some learning aspect, like, Daniel Tiger, I would say, is a rather woke show. It teaches like emotions, rules of life, maybe teamwork, sharing, things like that in a very nice, simple way. If you want to teach numbers or maths, maybe you go with Numbers Block on Netflix. For like more science concepts, there's a popular show called Tumbleleaf on Prime Video.
Yeah, I see you left Bluey out of that list. I guess you don't like it much, but that seems to be one of the most popular shows in my friend circle. And I've heard parents like it a lot because it portrays things like very positive parenting and it promotes imaginative play and things like that in kids.
Well, I'm not a big fan of Bluey because of what I've seen. I think the lessons are more for adults, like, how to parent and not so much for kids.
Yeah, you might be right. I mean, I do question if kids actually learn lessons from these shows independently, especially when you talk about more complicated moral lessons. No, these can be very nuanced. Like you said, Bluey has some very nuanced lessons. So I really doubt if my kid will learn something on their own, or maybe for them it's just some story going on in the background, you know.
Yeah, in fact, research shows that if you try to teach morals to the kids through these shows, it might backfire, because generally what happens is these shows will show like the main character has some bad behavior or they do something bad, and then there's a lesson at the end of it. But kids might actually internalize the bad behavior and they don't take away the lessons, especially if they're really young.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. In fact, I think what I've read is shows like Caillou and Peppa Pig. No, they are generally not recommended because they fall in that category, and their main characters are spoiled kids who later learn some lessons, maybe.
Interesting. The other type of lesson is, of course, educational lessons. Like Miss Rachel is famous for that. She claims, and a lot of our friends might agree, is that even though she's annoying, it actually helps that kids learn language, ABCs, numbers, etc.
You know, language is a specific point I'm not completely sold on. I mean, I totally agree that Miss Rachel might be better than most other shows that are out there. But it's been pretty clearly shown that nothing can replace interaction, the back and forth, in order for kids to learn language.
I think I agree with you there. So the other thing is length of the show, right? So you see now that these shows are much shorter, like Bluey or Daniel Tiger, like I think are under 10 minutes per episode, which is another thing to think about, and that really helps to, I think, contain watch time, right?
Yeah, yeah. So then to summarize the selection criteria, we talked about some aspects that are important, like the pace of the show. Then you can think about how annoying is the show. Can you actually co-watch it with your kids? We also talked about content and learning and the length of the show. So with these principles in mind, Urvashi, what would you recommend that kids watch?
Well, there are some shows out there that are widely agreed to be bad. They basically violate these principles. I think you touched upon that, like Caillou, Peppa Pig, maybe even Paw Patrol to some extent. So I wouldn't recommend them. I think Numbers Block on Netflix fits the criteria. It's slow, so I think that I would be comfortable allowing independent viewing for my child. Tumbleleaf, I think I like that because it teaches, science concepts through daily observations. And I would recommend that over like ABC types of lessons. What about you? What do you generally watch with your two kids?
That's actually an interesting question because now that I think about it, I think we do a lot of more non-animated content, so like Discovery Channel, Nat Geo. But here, the important thing is just finding something that your kids are really into. So for my 5-year-old, he loves watching airplanes. So we watch these airplane landing and takeoff videos. And then we do a lot of sports, tennis, Olympics, etc.
Very interesting. So, we talked about what to select and how to select the shows that you want your kids to watch. The other thing is which platform do you use for kids to watch. So, I think the distinction here is TVs or phones and tablets. And I personally prefer TV so that like I'm just aware of what the kid is watching. At least like there's some form of co-viewing going on.
Yeah, we only do TV. I feel like TV is better because then they don't associate the phone with watching screens or shows at all, and it contains the experience to where the TV is available in our house.
And maybe better for eyes too.
Yeah. Okay, so hope you guys got some good recommendations and a good framework on how to select shows for your kids to watch.
Don't keep watching, but keep listening to us. We will share some links in our show notes with recommendations.
Thanks and goodbye.